Hello there. I am doing a very quick middle of the month check-in for you guys. So this reading is just to see what energies all the signs are dealing with, as well as what some of the things that they need to keep in mind about as we close out the first month of 2019, okay? I feel like the energy has been a little bit tense lately. So I just wanted to, touch bases with you guys and see what's going on. So we're going to start with Aries and we're going to end with Pisces. And if I have time, I'll do the timestamps either way. If you can, flip the screen to your sign, that way you can get the messages for you. So the first sign that I am going to start with here, we have Aries. So Aries, I'm seeing like there is a little bit of a heated discussion. I wouldn't say it's an argument. I feel like it's a airing out a difference in opinions or some ideological differences between you and another person. I see a very strong air sign energy, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. Also the fixed sign, Scorpio, Taurus, Leo, Aquarius in particular. I feel like you're dealing with a partner that might be very, very stubborn. There has been some major change for the better in their lives, but I also feel like they're enjoying the newfound abundance. They're enjoying the new lifestyle. So they might have had like a significant uptick when it comes to their finances, to their career, to their status, to their standing. And I feel almost like with it comes this renewed sense of confidence. So I feel like they need a period of time to kind of, enjoy this newfound abundance. I feel like they've been in a hole or a holding pattern or some type of a they've been experiencing a lot of blockages in their lives, and now that things are transitioning very smoothly for them, give them a little bit of time to just coast. Give them the leeway, give them the courtesy to just feel good with whatever they're experiencing right now, because I feel like they've had it very hard, okay? I feel like many of you are understanding of this, but I also feel like there are things between the two of you that needs to be planned out together. And I feel there's a little bit of a, hanging in limbo, stuck energy between the interaction between the two of you. For some of you, this could be like a family member, somebody who's very, very, very stubborn. I'm seeing somebody whose crown is put on crooked. Okay, so that means it's almost like it could be somebody. So let's say the crowns signify royalty. It signifies somebody who is in a position of power. So when it's on crooked, I feel almost like it could be somebody who could potentially abuse their power, or they use their power to get people to do what they want to, the people to do. And they don't, there's like a disregard for what the individual wants. So I feel like it's somebody who's like, who wants you to do what they want you to do, and they don't really care what you as an individual want, and they don't really care what's really good for you. So they're speaking from a place of defensiveness, and they're coming from a place where they're feeling very indignant that somebody would dare go against their wishes. So it's somebody who's a little bit of a, I want to say a diva. It doesn't have to be female, but I feel like they have this sense of a little bit of a sense of entitlement. Now, this is not a bad person. I feel like they have a good heart. They're very loyal, very regal, and they have a really good sense of ethics and morality. But I also feel like they are extremely stubborn and they want things their way. And because you both are very independent, they see your independence as a threat to their power, okay? So I see that dynamics coming in. I also feel like you guys have this newfound awareness as to who or what you're dealing with. And you have this new sense of awareness that how to best approach this person, or how to deal with this person, or how to navigate this energy so that it doesn't affect you. So I see you being able to circumvent, the possibly the power trip, the power struggle, or even the possessiveness I feel coming in from this person. I see a blasting through as well when it comes to finances. If there has been worries or anxieties or issues when it comes to financial, like sorting out your finances, I feel like it's going to get resolved. And I do see there's an energy here about like separating your finances with another person. So and I don't feel like it's a separation, but I feel like it's more like figuring out who is spending what, how much resources is going through, different avenues, and how much resources are we able to retain. And I feel like it would be in your best interest to try to separate your income, your earnings. That way you keep track of what you're doing, they keep track of what they're doing, and then it doesn't create conflict in the future, okay? If you are dealing with a Virgo in particular, I see this person is very, very shy. I see them looking at you. And I also feel like, they might have had some self-esteem issues. There is a very strong shyness, self-esteem issue associated with this person's self-doubt. And that's just like a natural Virgoan energy. They might not exude this energy up front, but I feel like deep down there's somebody that is admiring you from afar. And I feel like you might catch them looking at you. You might catch, they're saying here, look at their eyes, and then also looking at how shy they are when you ask them certain things. So I feel like it's somebody who's definitely interested, who definitely looks down when they answer, and then they look up when they're done answering. So it's a clear sign of shyness. Let me see if there's anything else coming in here. You're at a point, honestly, Aries, where I feel like your throat chakra is very activated, and I feel like it's activated in a very profound way. So what I mean by that is if in the past, right, you kind of just get mad and you explode and then you get over it, I feel like this time, before you get mad, before you verbalize your anger, I feel like some of you are kind of like channeling that energy more towards your third eye chakra or your crown chakra to be able to understand, what is this person saying to me? Why are they exhibiting this behavior that drives me angry? Why am I so ticked off by what they're doing? And then once you're able to filter that through and you're just like, okay, so for example, if you're talking to somebody and if you're talking to somebody and they make some, very, let's just say, if they make some racist comments, right? You're just like, instead of just, giving them a piece of your mind, you're taking that energy and it builds up and builds up and it goes towards your crown chakra. And you're like, why is this person saying that? What is it about them that makes them believe this? Are they just, not exposed to a lot of different cultures? Or is this just the way they're brought up? Or is it just, or is this an educated person that has been, so crippled by life experiences that they're seeing the world in this antagonistic way? And then I feel like you take that information, it goes back down to the throat chakra, wherein you're able to express, rather than saying, you're really ignorant for saying that. Instead, you ask them, what makes you say that? So I feel like the way in which you communicate has been greatly transformed. And it's transformed mainly because you're starting to also realize that, the emotional responses is not the way to go. And also when people say inflammatory things to you, it's because they're trying to get a rise out of you, and you're not going to be playing that game. You're being a little bit more methodical about how you are coming across, as well as the things that you say, and how to basically start a conversation, or how to communicate things in a way where it gets to the bottom of a situation without allowing the other person to get a rise out of you. Okay, so I see a lot of maturation happening here, and I also feel like it's more like this energy. It's like utilizing the full 7 chakras, and allowing the energy or the thoughts to flow in and out in between the chakras so that you can arrive at the best optimal solution to your social interaction, to a problem that you might have, to some communication barriers or blockages, or even your dealings with other people. Okay, so it's a really nice energy. So that is all I have for you. Let me move on to the next sign. We are doing Taurus. So what is going on with Taurus right now? What do they need to know? Can you give me some information for Taurus? What is going on and what do they need to know? All right, Taurus, so welcome. First of all, I feel like there is an interaction between you and another person. And being the practical sign that you are, there's a lot of skepticism that is coming through from you. There's a lot of skepticism. And I feel like this person is giving you information that is a little bit more on the intuitive end. They're giving you some insight, some higher wisdom, some higher truths. They could, for some of you, be a counselor. They could be a therapist. They could be somebody that you come to and consult with when it comes to more esoteric, teaching. So I feel like you're in the presence of somebody, and there is this sense of skepticism between you to them, and I feel like they have never shown themselves to be distrustful or deceitful or devious, but for whatever reason you have a lot of questions. You want to follow up, you want to understand, and I feel like you're furrowing your brow trying to figure out, wait a minute, how does that work, how does this work? It's like you have a gazillion questions that you want to ask further. And I don't see the other person being evasive at all. So whatever you're asking, they have, how sometimes you ask somebody and you expect like the answer to be one way or the other, but they're giving you an answer that is somewhere in between. This is not someone who's wishy-washy. This is just somebody who sees things in a different way. So they don't see things as black or white. They don't see right or wrong. They don't see the world in binary. They see like, well, there are some, they could also be someone who's very creatively able to problem solve, mainly because they see the path that a lot of people don't see. I'm getting a strong visual of a white owl. And white owls, I guess they're very rare, or I don't know, there's something very pure, very profound with the wisdom that they give out. And I feel like it's making your brows furrow because you're just like, how come I never thought of that? Or I thought it was going to be like this, but then the information I'm getting is like nothing like I've experienced before. So that's what I'm sensing here. What I have as well is they're saying that the situation is going to take a lot of time, okay? I am almost seeing like a seed that needs to be planted in the ground. It needs to be nurtured and watered and things like that. And then, it has the potential to potentially grow into an oak tree. So the oak tree is symbolic of, strength. What is that? It's like like something that's very majestic, like a mountain. Strength, something that is very majestic, something that can, weather the storm, and it's very strong, very dependable, and it provides shade, and it provides, bounty and harvest for, like, it's almost like the thing that stabilizes an ecosystem. So they're saying whatever it is you're creating, if it's a relationship, which I feel very could be, It very well could be, excuse me. And then I'm also sensing like if it's something that you're trying to get off the ground, there's a seed here, which is an idea, and it's going to start to grow. And when it grows, it's going to snowball, and it's going to be something that you have never dreamed about, that is beyond your expectations. Okay, so I see this potential of something really, really, really good. I'm also feeling for many of you, there is an emotional relationship that you have been in that you're greatly thinking about walking away and giving your cup of love to another person. I have here an air sign and a fire sign, Sagittarius, Aries, Leo, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, that you could be moving towards, okay? I feel like one cycle is closing, another one is beginning. And I feel like there is a very strong attraction towards somebody. I'm getting this, parched throat, wanting to speak, but feeling kind of like tongue-tied, that shyness, that trepidation we feel when we are in the presence of somebody that we really, really like, or we are nervous, or we are tongue-tied. So I see that energy for you guys, but it looks very beautiful. The last thing I'm seeing here is, let me just get this message. It's a mosaic. I'm seeing like almost an imagery of a stained glass window, and then it's like it's not a rectangular. So the bottom is rectangular, the top is arched, okay? And it's a scene in a garden where there are a lot of trees, and it's a stained glass window. So there's a depiction of a tree and a lot of flowers underneath the base of the tree. But each one of those pieces, it's a piece of glass, and it has different colors. And then I see the light in the background kind of streaming through. So I'm sensing that it's the universe telling you that there isn't a right or a wrong answer. There isn't a best optimal outcome or a bad outcome. It's almost like all the pieces will fall into place, and all the pieces are required to, create that large picture for you. So what you're focused on, or what you have been focused on, are all these little pieces, or all these little fragments of a stained glass, but you're not really seeing the picture. And so step away from a situation. Don't try to make sense of, how does this work? How does it fit in with the next piece? Step away from it and try to visualize the bigger picture. And the bigger picture has to do with, things that are further down the line, not what's immediately in front of you, trying to solve this problem. So for example, if you're trying to get out of a marriage, right? You're like, oh, what's going to happen to the kids? What's going to happen to the house? What's going to happen to the car? What about our bank account? What about, the mortgage? How much are we going to, divide up between the two of us? And so if you're, for example, if you're going through that process, I feel like you're getting bogged down with all the little details. And so they're urging you to kind of step away from it and think about, what is the end goal? The end goal is basically, there is a cycle here that needs to be closed up, and focusing on closing it up, and focusing on just that major, overarching theme, rather than worrying and talking yourself out of doing something because you're worried about all the little technical problems. It's going to be helpful for you as you navigate through this energy, okay? So there is a lot of divine wisdom coming through with this owl imagery that I'm seeing. So I feel like you want to turn off your rational mind and allow the spiritual insights to come in and help you problem solve the situation that you're in, all right? So Taurus, best of luck with that, okay? So we are moving on to Geminis. Geminis. Gemini, there's a, well, let me get all the cards out before I talk about Geminis. Okay, Geminis. There's a huge burden that you've been carrying, and it feels almost like, you know, the last straw. I've had it. It's the last straw. It's something where the foundation is being corroded, mainly because of all the obligations, all the responsibilities, all the things that are kind of piled on you. And it's creating a little bit of a crack in the foundation, okay? I feel like some of you might be a little bit too caffeinated, like you're drinking a lot of coffee, drinking a lot of caffeine. If you're putting things in your body that are not healthy for you, I feel like your body might be rejecting it. You might be breaking out. You might be getting a lot of headaches. You might be getting withdrawal symptoms. So try to flood your body with a lot more water and try as best as you can to you know, eat a little bit more healthily and getting a lot of liquids to flush these toxins out, okay? I see a couple here, and what I have here is the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords. So to me, same suit. You know, it's a couple. It's somebody that are it's two people that are just a very good match for one another, okay? One person is a little bit, well, they're both very intelligent. The sword, the suit of sword, are indicate people that are, you know, they're very crown chakra based. So they're very logical, very reasonable. They like to communicate. I almost feel like this really high sense of education. So I don't know if the two of you have the same type of educational attainment, but I feel like it's a communication with another person that is very divine. It's almost like you understand each other. You might have an empathic understanding of one another. You have the same goals. You have the same ideologies. You have the same way of communicating and the same way of thinking. So I see a mirroring energy that is very good, where you might feel like, you know, in the past you have to talk and then you have to constantly explain yourself. With this new person, you feel like, oh my gosh, where have you been my whole life? I don't have to over-explain myself. I don't have to constantly explain myself. You understand exactly what I'm saying. And you guys are like always on the same page, okay? Emotionally and intellectually, very much on the same page. I feel like this person is very different from you. So I'm getting here somebody who's very light-skinned, dark hair, and I'm getting another person who's darker skin and possibly brownish hair. So I see contrast. I see an attraction that is based on, I feel like it's an attraction that is based on, you know, if it first started out as physical attraction, like it's a very undeniable sense of physical attraction. I see somebody with paler skin and dark hair, and this is a person that is a little bit more analytical, very skeptical, okay? So I don't know if that's you or the other person. And then the other person has light-colored eyes. They have a very calm and a gentle face. Like when they smile, they're very sincere. And their eyes, they have very soft eyes. So I feel like it's somebody who has been through a lot, and they're very genuine. I feel like they're very genuine for whatever reason. They're very genuine. Like they're very kind. They have really kind-hearted, soft energy. I see darker skin, and I see like possibly brownish or darker hair. Some of them could have like blonde highlights too, because, you know, we're of course not hitting everything on the spectrum, but those are the two people that I'm seeing. I feel like life has dealt you a lot recently, but I also feel like life has not been a bed of roses, okay? I feel like some of you might have been forced to grow up at a very young age, okay? You've had responsibilities. You've had to take care of yourself. You didn't have the privilege or the luxury of, you know, being a kid, I feel. You've had to grow up. You've had to, so there were a lot of responsibilities imposed upon you. And I feel like at this point in your life, many of you are at a major junction. Do I stay or do I go? Do I shirk off responsibilities because it feels very overwhelming? My foundation is cracking. Or what do I do about it? Once I shirk off responsibilities, my life is going to be so much better. I'm going to be able to soar. I'm going to be able to excel so fast in my professional life. And I'm sensing as well, I'm going to have somebody else by my side. I feel like you're contemplating a very big, life-changing type of a decision. And I feel like you understand as well that the status quo is no longer working for you, okay? I feel like some of you just want to kind of take off into the forest and just want to be by yourself and mull these things over. Some of you want to consult somebody to be able to get some insights, and then others, I feel like you just want to soar and really expand on your professional life, and that's what you're really concerned about right now. Like, am I able, I feel like a little bit of stress coming through on the professional front, and I feel like you just want to shirk off responsibilities and just not worry about it. But at the same time, realistically, I feel like many of you are just thinking about, like, focusing very heavily on work. Even though it's stressful, you're handling it okay. I see an imagery of a beetle. Now, I don't do animal totems, but I do believe that they indicate transformation. It's almost like a rags to riches type of an energy for me too. And I feel like that's the story that I'm seeing here with a lot of Geminis, rags to riches. Despite all odds, despite all opposition, you've made it. You are now at the peak of your career. Your finances looks really good, and you're very proud of yourself. I see this self-satisfied Gemini, but at one point, it's almost like, yeah, money doesn't make the world go around. I do want somebody that I love and cherish and who gets me, and you have somebody like this in your environment. But here's the caveat. What are you willing to, sacrifice in order to be with this person? Are you able to shake off all the responsibilities? Because I feel like you're still grappling with this decision. Transformation is going to be coming in very strongly for you. And I feel like 30 days, like the next phase of the moon, okay? So in about 30 days time, there's going to be major transformation, forward movement with this person that I feel is made for you, okay? So I wish you the best, Geminis. Moving on to the next sign. Okay, so what's going on with Cancers? What's going on with Cancers? Hi there, Cancers. So I'm seeing two people here who are looking at each other. One person is very mellow, and I feel this is you. Very mellow. It's sort of like, let's watch and see what happens. Let's see if things change. Let's see if things develop. Let's not act too prematurely. Let's it's a very chill out type of an energy. It's someone who's very relaxed, who doesn't do things with a lot of urgency, and who's very much, passive, go with the flow. Passivity is not bad, okay? I feel like, some situations warrants it. And then you're dealing with someone who's a little bit more militant, who's a little bit more aggressive, who's a little bit like, we can't just sit here and wait for things to happen. We need to strategize right now. And so there's this clash in energy between you and another person. And I don't feel like it's conflictual to the point where it's creating problems. I don't feel that. But I do feel like it's two people that really, really complement each other. Okay. I see a very strong like love bond between you and another person where you really care about each other. You really try to make things work. You're very much in a position where you are trying to compromise. I'm also seeing as well from your end, there's a lot of love. There's a lot of acceptance. There's a lot of forgiveness. From their end, they're a little bit more on the icy end, where they see your passivity or they see the ways in which you're doing, where you don't do things with a sense of urgency. They might get a little bit upset. They might demand things. And so I feel like the both of you, if you are communicating, you have to communicate. So for example, you have to try to understand a little bit more like where one another is coming from, so that you can, I guess, like soften the language a little bit. So for example, you're looking at your partner. This is a partner who's very goal oriented, okay? He or she had been through a lot in their life. A lot, things that you can't even imagine. And they from a very young age, they've learned to be very self-sufficient. They had to do everything on their own. They might have to hustle, at a very young age. They've always made things happen for themselves. They're very independent, financially very stable. And they're always looking for new opportunities. And you have to understand they're like this because that's how they were conditioned. Okay? They're seeing you and they feel almost like you're not on the same page with me. I'm not going to wait around for you. And I see there's a little bit of fear from your end about losing this person, mainly because you feel like you can't catch up with them. You can't keep up the pace. You feel like they're stressing you out because they're demanding actions when you just want to relax. Okay? That's what I'm feeling here. And I almost feel like, yes, you do have a lot of love for them, but at this point, for whatever reason, they're looking at you, they still care about you, but they're a little bit, it's almost like, love and warmth and, forgiveness and all of those things. It shows up in like a water form. I'm almost feeling like rather than like an ocean where the waves are moving and the emotions are consistent. With this person, I feel like it's like a frozen lake. Okay, it's like it's a little bit chilly, it's a little bit icy. And I don't know if the love has run out, but I feel like they're looking at you in a different light, whereas you're seeing them and you're still admiring them and you still love them. But I feel like they're seeing you in a very unflattering way. And they're a little bit frustrated with the situation. And I also feel like you sense the chill. You sense that they're either holding back affection or they're kind of withdrawing or stepping away from you. And so I feel like when the two of you communicate, you have to really drive that point home, okay? You have to really tell them, we're not in survival mode anymore. I'm your partner. We need to work together. We need to decide on a course of action. You can't do this unilaterally. You can't make all the executive decisions. We are in a partnership now. And you have to wait for me to catch up. So rather than allowing them to destabilize you and to stress you out with, constantly feeling like you have to catch up to them, constantly urging you to do things or urging you to be on their time frame, you have to verbalize the need to, you're stressing me out. Please come down to my pace. I can't function on this adrenaline rush all the time. That's not who I am. So communicating, okay? getting that really clear communication, I feel is going to transform this situation and transform this connection. I do see there's a lot of love here. There's still a lot of love, a lot of mutual respect. Okay. And those are the foundation for a good relationship. So everything else, I feel like all the other cursory things, they're minor issues. So it seems like there is a way to reconnect. There is a way to be on the same page. There is a way to meet each other halfway, but it starts with communication. All right. All right. So next up, we are moving on to Leo. Hi there, Leos. You've got some pretty cards. So, first of all, I do see there is a temptation in your midst, okay? It's like somebody beckoning you to bite from the forbidden fruit, and then you're just like, I know what you're doing. It's like I know you're trying to tempt me. I know you're trying to elicit some information from me. I know this is too good to be true, and I'm looking at you skeptically. So I almost see like this snake in a tree, and then I see this land animal, so like a leopard, some type of a land animal circling around the tree, looking at the fruit, going around in circles underneath the snake and looking at it, observing it. And I feel like, you're definitely coming into a situation with full awareness that you're being tempted, or your instincts are kicking up telling you, wait a minute, examine this a little bit more carefully. Look at who's giving the offer and look at the reasons why. Something looks really, really good, very tempting, very colorful is what I'm seeing as well. So there's a sheen to the snake in the tree. I don't know, the scales are like multicolored. It's like the colors change underneath the sun. So I feel like you're dealing with somebody that is very beautiful, quite attractive. They have this magnetic aura about them. But it seems almost like too good to be true. And so you're trying your hardest to look at the situation and to really analyze it and to take it in so that you don't get sidetracked, okay? Love and money, there are really big resolutions between the two. It's almost like it's going to happen for you concurrently, okay? So what we have here is the Ace of Cups, which is, a brand new love, something that is very amazing coming through that will be very emotionally fulfilling for you. For some of you, this is a realization that you really love somebody, or that, somebody really loves you. So there is this sense of reciprocity, this sense of everything that I've put my effort in and my time and energy is finally paying off. And I feel like vice versa, the other person could be feeling that way about you. For some of you, this is somebody who is in the work environment and you're foregoing temptation because you might not want to mess up the work dynamics by dating them or by courting them, or, things like that. And then for others of you, I feel almost like I feel like, the love is really there, but you're cautious. You're treading very, very lightly because you don't want this situation to sink. So what I'm seeing is a buoy in the ocean, okay? And it's I feel like I see like a post, and then it's nailed in on top of this white buoy, and it's kind of like bobbing in the ocean. On top of that post are like it's like a little tree, and there's like money growing out of the tree. and you're standing from afar looking at it, and you're just like, why is there a tree in the middle of the ocean? And why is money grown on that tree? And so you're just like, if I were to swim out there, would that buoy hold me, hold my weight? Would I sink? And so there's this thing, it's almost like there's a lot of water between you and this thing in the ocean that you want to get to. For some of you, it's a job. For some of you, it's just like a situation that feels like it's too good to be true. And you're trying to figure out, you know, how far is the swim? How's the water? If I get there, will it hold my weight temporarily? How will I get the money back? And then for others of you, it's like, this situation doesn't even make sense. Why is there a tree? So I feel like you're using your analytical mind, but either way, there's something separating you from the thing that you want, okay? And I feel like it is a hugely about an emotional sense of trust in a situation. So I would say, don't act on anything right now. I feel like your spidey senses are tingling for a reason, because something just seems a little bit off. Something seems like it doesn't make sense. But at the same time, I don't feel like there's anything to fear. And I also feel like, you know, a lot of the times things come in, things that are right for us, things that are meant to be, they come in and they can, in fact, be very effortless. Whereas the things that are not meant for us are the things that we have to chase, or the things that we have to constantly go after. And I feel like this energy is very soft. It's very like welcoming. It's almost like it's coming in for you where it's meant to be. And that's why it's a little bit harder to trust. It's like, why this is too good to be true. It's so easy. What's happening? And so don't act on it. But I feel like you can let your guard down, and you can definitely trust the process. Okay? So I hope that is helpful for you guys. Next up, we have Virgos. What's going on for Virgos right now for January 2019? Hi there, Virgos. So this is just a very quick, getting back in touch with you guys and see what's going on for you. So I have 4 cards pulled out here, and the first thing that I'm seeing here is sunlight and warmth, and just this this concept of rejuvenation. Okay, it looks really beautiful. It looks really good. So I feel like some of you could be in a, craving a tropical environment. Others of you, you're just in the presence of somebody that is very transformative in your life, and they're providing a lot of strength and a lot of warmth for you as you navigate the next phase. There is a lot of travel and movement that I'm seeing here. There's a lot of like new sights, looking at new foreign lands and enjoying something. There's something here about the weather. Really, really enjoying the warmth. Okay? And I feel like some of you could be like picnicking at a park where the temperature is really warm. Some of you could be just lazing around on a beach. Others of you could be in a sauna, by a pool, in a hot tub, or there's just something that indicates to me a lot of warmth. What I'm feeling as well is there's a lot of career success that's going to be coming through. I see 8 weeks, so we are in January. So February and March, there are going to be major career work, finance breakthrough for you guys, for the better. Okay, there's going to be a lot of communication in the work, finance, career department, and I feel like you're going to be in the spotlight. So there might be some very quick snap decisions that you need to make. Okay, when it comes to your career, when it comes to your finances, when it comes to travel and movement. I have here the Eight of Wands as well as the Two of Wands. The Eight of Wands is about communication through electronic channels, emails, text messages, phone calls, and travel as well. They're saying here dusting off your luggage or finding that luggage because you need to be ready to go. So I feel like it's happening fast. And then the Two of Wands is a long distance relationship usually. But in this context, I feel like it's a long distance location, like a geographical location change that's going to be happening for you. I see you mulling over a major decision when it comes to your work and your finances. You're mulling things over. Do I stay or do I go? It's a heavy decision, not in a bad way. It's just the scale doesn't tip over from one side or in favor of one side over another. It's a very balanced decision where you can stay or you can go. The scale is completely even. So you're weighing apples and oranges pretty much. So it's just a matter of preference. Do you like apples or do you like oranges? Because they're both nutritious. They're both great for your body, and they're both, classically considered fruits. So I feel like you're weighing out two options that cannot be weighed out based on logic, based on reason. They need to be weighed out based on your preference. Does that make sense? So this is not a decision that can be weighed out with, the way that a typical Virgo weighs out decision. Writing down a list of pros and cons, consulting your closest friends and allies and loved ones. This is a decision that is internally based on your preference. And that's why it's a little bit harder to make, okay? So I see you weighing it out, and I feel like the scale is holding still. It's not tipping in favor of one thing or the other. And so if you've been feeling stuck, this new job or this new situation is going to free you. So that might be personal preference. Do you want to be unstuck, unglued, and do you want to kind of break free? Okay, so I feel like you've got a major decision coming through. Okay, I'm just going to leave it at that, Virgos. I hope that is helpful. Well, one last thing. I'm sorry. I feel like you're spreading your wings and getting ready to soar. That's what I'm feeling. And I feel like whatever the choice is that you're grappling, choose the one that allows you to soar. Because you need to live up to your full potential. Okay? So maybe that will help. So we are moving on here to Libras. So let me get the cards shuffled out here. What's going on with Libras? Hi Libra, so welcome to your January 2019 short snippet. First of all, I'm getting this throat chakra that is being activated, okay? And the throat, I mentioned it for another sign. I think it might be Aries. Okay, so Aries is your polar opposite. With Aries, it stands more for like the truth, truth and honesty. With yours, I feel like it came out in the reverse. So it seems to me like there might be a situation where you need to not shy away from speaking your truth. You have to be a little bit more clear about what it is that you're trying to communicate. If you are communicating your wants, your needs, you need to be very clear, because people will give us what we want. Believe it or not, people give us what we want. So if we're very self-aware, if we are very clear about our intentions, people will give us exactly what we ask for. Okay, so I feel like there's a situation here where you're expected and compelled to tell the truth. And that could be as simple as, wanting a relationship, or, I like you, but I'm not interested in you because, I'm interested in somebody else. Or let's just date each other for like a few more times and see where things go. Okay. Or just like, I'm not interested in you, please leave me alone. Okay. So being very vocal, being very clear about what it is that you desire and what it is that you want. And even if you're in a position where you can't make a decision, you have to give the other person the courtesy and tell them, I can't make this decision right now. Give me a little bit more time. And let's revisit this conversation like next week, next month, etc. There's a need here to really speak your truth. There's a need here for you to be the purest and the best form of your higher self, okay? There are some financial dealings where I feel like, let me see how to explain this. I'm seeing almost like a situation where there's a lot of financial gains. And with the financial gains, there might be temptation to not tell the truth. And I want you to be very careful about that, okay? Because I feel like the decision is contingent upon another person. And so it is our duty, and I really believe this, it's our duty, it's our moral obligation to a fellow human being to give them the truth, to be as truthful and as honest and as candid as we can be, because, there is such a thing as karma. So if there is some financial dealings that are very, contingent upon truth and honesty, you have to bring your best to the table, okay? And, this energy can be flipped around. It could be another person. Make sure that you are doing whatever you need to do from your end, and, let them, maybe that's their lesson that they need to learn, okay? But either way, I feel like there's a big need here. Throat chakra, speaking the truth. The other thing I'm sensing as well is there are a lot of offers that are on the table for you. Possibly somebody that's really, bringing a lot of color, a lot of love, a lot of light into your world. And I feel like they're very generous, they're very loving, they're very pure. Their energy is just magnanimous. Like, it's somebody that gives and gives and gives of themselves because they're kind and loving and selfless. Okay, so there's this outpouring of love coming through from a lot of people around you, coming from, all spheres of your life, like the work sphere, the family environment, co-workers, friends, etc. So there's just a lot of things that are in the picture for you. For those of you who have started dating, there are a lot of suitors. Okay, people vying for you. And that's why I would say all of these things are coming in as blessings. People that want to be with us, co-workers that adore us, bosses that, try to make our lives a lot more enjoyable. So I feel like because of this, because you're being bombarded with all this kind, loving, spirited energy, it is your obligation to bring your best to the table. So I keep seeing this energy about having a lot of suitors, but needing to be honest, like, I'm in love with somebody else, I can't date you. Or, let's just date a few more times and see where things go. Or I'm seeing other people as well, so let's just date a few more times. So I feel like you don't need to make a decision right now, but you need to verbalize it or vocalize it to another person. That way they know where they stand with you, okay? So I hope that is helpful for you, Libras. Moving on to Scorpios. So what's going on with Scorpios? So moving on to Scorpios. What I'm picking up here is there's a sense of patiently waiting for a situation to be ready, waiting for the opportune moment, waiting for the right time, waiting for the paint to dry before you apply another coat. Okay, so I feel almost like you're biding your time. You want something to be done perfectly. Okay, so I almost feel like a very strong, oh, I got this with Cancers too. Maybe it's a water sign thing. It's like a very strong chill out vibe. You know, I'll do it when the time is right. I'm biding my time. I'm analyzing and assessing this situation. I'm waiting for somebody to mature. I'm waiting for somebody to get back to me once they have grown up, once they are, once they're no longer childish, once they're no longer once they're ready. So I feel like waiting, there's this process about waiting for a situation, waiting for things to ripen, waiting for the right moment, waiting for the right time. So no one's going to be able to push you to do anything because you know everything is happening in divine timing. Okay. So in the meantime, you're just biding your time. I feel some of you are doing some light socializing and dating. And so there's a lot of communication over, electronic communications, which suggests to me like online dating, meeting up people, trying to expand your social life, going out for coffee, going out for drinks, meeting people. You seem to me like you're wearing your armor. So that means you're very, very guarded. You're just very careful. You're listening a lot to what the other people might be saying. Like if you're going on dates, you're listening to what they're saying, waiting for them to reveal themselves, waiting for them to slip up. So I don't see many of you asking a lot of questions. You're just letting the other person talk and you're just like, okay. But I feel like this, it's like you're sitting at a dinner table on a date at a, semi-formal restaurant with another person and you're wearing your armor. That's what it feels like to me. So they're talking and you're just like taking in the scenery, the sights, taking in the sound of their voice, the things that they're saying. And I feel like there is still that cautiousness about you, okay? So there's nothing wrong with that because I feel like you guys have a very strong sense of intuition and you have a sense of divine timing. And when the time is right, that's when you know to go for it. So you're just assessing, waiting for the right opportunity or the right opportune moment to kind of interject or to kind of move forward with the situation. I'm not seeing a lot of finance work things here. So I feel like, no news is good news. I feel like you might be in an environment where you're learning something or you're teaching somebody something. So there's a lot of like monologues that I see going on, either somebody constantly talking, like teaching you, or you're doing this with another person where you're explaining to them processes, steps, procedures, and they're just like nodding. Like I feel like they're learning. It's not like they're just nodding. I feel like they're absorbing the information so you don't have to worry. So there's like dissemination of information, teaching somebody, telling somebody how to do something. So it looks very good. Let me see if there's anything else coming through. It's weird, but I'm seeing stepping on some gooey or sticky things that are keeping you stuck in a situation. So I'm seeing this man with a pair of boots and he steps on something that's very sticky. Okay, and so when you translate this into like a spiritual message, I almost feel like, you want to buy your time before you step into a situation that could be potentially very, very messy. An example, if somebody is telling you, yeah, I've got kids, you're dating somebody and someone tells you like, yeah, I have kids. And then you're like, okay, I'm okay with children, so let's date. And then you find out that they not only do they have kids, but they're still married or they're still living together with, the person, the mother or the father of their children. So I feel like you kind of have to know the whole story. So I feel almost like it's urging you to ask more questions. Okay, or just, wait things out, bide your time so that you have more information, so that you're fully informed of the entire situation before you step into something that is so sticky that you can't get that you can't turn around to leave. Okay, so that's what I have for you. I feel like this is not just pertaining to relationships. This is also in a work environment. Make sure the terms are clear. Okay, and then as it relates to like coworkers and things like that, try to be a little bit less social, because I feel like somebody can, come by your office and they just, or like in passing, you run across a coworker and you're just like, hey, how was your weekend? Because we all say that, and then we expect, great, okay, how was yours? And then we go on our way. But then they keep you there and they tell you about every single thing they did over the weekend. They keep you there for 15, 20 minutes, and then you're stuck there and you can't, just get up and go. So be careful about that as well. Okay, I don't know why that came up, but hopefully that is helpful for you guys. All right. So next up we have Sagittarius. Oh, okay, Sagittarius. Hi there, Sagittarius. Your reading is a little bit, I don't even know the words to describe this. It's not bad. It's not bad. Let me just take a moment to absorb the information. So when I shuffled out these 4 cards, the first thing that came to mind is I feel like some of you, you've had like, maybe 4, less than 4. So 1 to 4 significant relationships. And they have been duds, okay? It's like it started out with a lot of potential, and then for whatever reason, after the same amount of time, the relationship started to sink, okay? And then you move on to the next relationship and the same things happen. So for example, it might have been like a 9-month relationship where, the first 3 months, it's the honeymoon phase. So it was amazing. And then you might get, and then you might find out like, oh, the other person's talking to somebody else, or they're in a relationship, or they're already married. And then you leave that relationship. And then the next relationship, you knowingly, like you might run across somebody that you start to really like that's already in another relationship. And then the next one, you have a crush on somebody who, might already be married. So I see like patterns, I see cycles, and I see like falling for somebody that might not be appropriate for you, or falling for somebody who's not physically and emotionally available to be 100% completely yours. Does that make sense? And some of you are just like, am I cursed? Am I destined to repeat these patterns over and over and over and over again? No, you're not. You're not. We also need to think a little bit more with our mind rather than our hearts. And, we can't really help who we fall in love with, because feelings come on suddenly. However, we can help how we respond to our feelings. We can help the things that we do. We have total control over our actions, okay? In terms of how we respond to those emotions and the feelings that might be triggered within us by another person. there's a sense here of somebody who is unwilling to leave a relationship. There's I'm seeing like third parties all over this spread, and that's not why I was laughing. I'm not laughing at the situation. I'm laughing at something else. Okay, and I'll go to that in a little bit. So I'm not laughing at the situation. So I feel like there is a strong third party type of an energy. Okay. So for those of you who are dealing with that, I just want you to be cognizant of it. And I also want you to be aware, why are these cycles repeating? Okay. And I feel what it is there might be an energy here about wanting a challenge. Okay. And for some of us who are very commitment phobic, we want the idea of somebody, but we also don't want the constraints of an emotionally demanding relationship. So we unintentionally go after people that are not emotionally available, and as a result, they might be married. Does that make sense? So it's almost like we're attracting the energy of what we are giving off. Okay, so, and I feel like also the fact that the other person is like emotionally not available, it makes them more attractive. It makes them more like the thrill of the chase. It makes them seem more or appear more as a challenge. So I want you to be aware of these cycles, be aware of these thought processes, and to be aware of who and what it is you are pursuing or are trying to attract into your life. Okay, so let's sweep that out of the way for those who are dealing with that, because there's another image coming through, and this is why I was laughing earlier. I feel like there is somebody who's really coaxing you, come into the swimming pool, swim with us. And you're like a cat, and cats are afraid of water, so this is why I was laughing. There's somebody that is in the water, it's like a gopher, or a beaver. I think it's a beaver, the ones that builds the dam. I think those are beavers. Yeah, gophers don't swim. I don't think so. Anyways, it's a beaver, and it's in the water, and it's splashing around, and it's a really nice swimming pool. And it's telling this cat, come join me, come swim. And the cat is just like, are you not aware that I'm a cat, that I don't like water? So I feel like you're putting your foot down. You're telling somebody that they're doing something or saying something that might not be appropriate to you, or they're telling you to do things that you don't want to do. And when people tell you to do things that you don't want to do, you do kind of throw a fit, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I feel like we have to be a little bit softer, and we have to just be like, for example, if they're like, hey, do you want to go swimming with us? You can just tell them, oh, I don't want to swim, or I don't really enjoy swimming, but I would love to hang out with you guys next time. Okay, so softening our energies a little bit. And then if they're like, do you want to meet up and watch this football game? And you're like, no, I'm not a big fan of American football. I would love to watch a soccer game, so I'll catch you guys another time. Okay, that way they don't feel like you're, like you have really strong likes and dislikes. And if somebody tells you, want to watch an American football game, you're like, no, I hate watching sports. Don't do that. I feel like you have to kind of like be a little bit more inclusive, be a little bit more considerate, and also leave that door open for future opportunities. Does that make sense? Like, leave that door open, so that the other people also don't take it personally. They don't go and think like, oh, the Sagittarius must not want to hang out with me or must not like me. And then they never ask you again. You want to leave that door open, and you want to explain yourself like, I'd love to catch, the next game, or I'd love to meet you guys the next time, or I would love to go out with you on a date. But rather than doing that, can we do this instead? Because this is something that I've really wanted to do, and I would love to be able to have an opportunity to experience this with you. So you have to really learn to soften your communication and to really think about how you come across to the other person. Okay, so once again, I'm seeing this beaver, and it's asking the cat to come into the water. And the cat is like, not only is it physically scared to do so, it's also physically repulsed by the thought of water. So I feel like there's somebody that you really, really like, but they're really urging you to step out of your element. That means letting go of your fears, letting go of your phobias, letting go of your preconceived notions, letting go of that wall that you use to barricade yourself, letting go of this fear of commitment, letting go of, whatever emotional baggage that we all have. We all have certain fears, so that you can dive in and enjoy this moment. Once again, you're dealing with someone who's very different from you. Very different from you. They might have different hobbies, different interests, and that doesn't make or break a relationship. But I feel like they're showing you a different world, possibly a world of emotions that can feel a little bit uncomfortable. Okay, I see very strong water signs: Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. I'm also seeing Virgoan energies. And yeah, so Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, very strong, Virgo as well in this spread. There's a need here for you guys to, watch your spending. Watch your spending. Creating a spreadsheet to do like a budget spreadsheet for yourself would be really, really helpful. I feel like many of you, you're not very mindful of how much you're spending. Okay, so for example, if you could get like, if you can drive a little bit further, well, no, that's not a good example. So for example, if you have to buy like a bunch of knickknacks for the house, like garbage bags, a trash can, toothpaste, whatever it is, make a list and go to do all your shopping at once at a store where everything is cheaper, rather than going every week to buy little knickknacks here and there at a store that is closer to your house, but it's a little bit more expensive, because I feel like everything adds up, and oftentimes you're kind of impatient, so you don't want to wait, you don't want to take that extra step. So, or you might wait until the last minute to get things. So I want you to be a little bit cognizant about how you're spending your money. So having a budget for yourself, so that or at least keeping your receipts. Try to keep it for a few days and log in how much you're spending into that spreadsheet. It will keep you into a good habit of remembering how much you spent. If you remember how much you spent one week, and then the next day or the next week you're spending a lot more, you might start to question, okay? You might start to be a lot more aware of how much you're spending. So I feel like it's good bookkeeping habits in general. So I hope that is helpful for you guys. And let's go on to the next sign. We have Capricorns. Let's see what's going on for Capricorns. Capricorns. All right, Capricorns. So I hope you guys have had a really amazing time during your birthday time. I really, really do hope that. What I'm seeing here in this spread is there's a need for us to, okay, so forgive me for this pause, because I'm trying to figure out how to deliver this message in a way that is allowing it to. Okay, so I guess let's start with this. Life is a series of, experiences, right? Many of you might not feel that way, but the way that I look at life, and the way that I've looked at readings for many, 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 many clients, it's all about free will. Nothing is preordained. There are certain days, certain months, certain years, certain planetary aspects that will bring energies towards you, energies that might bring a new job, energies that might be conducive for, studies, like pursuing a course of studies. There might be other times where there's energies that are conducive for love relationships. But life itself is all about human free will. And our free will is really strong. And as a result of that, it's not about predestiny. Okay, it's not about like going to a psychic. They'll tell you, you get married in 3 years. If you choose to get married, you might get married in 3 years. If not, you will not get married. So it's all a matter of individual choices and actions. Okay. And as human beings, there are always times where we're going to be, we hit that crossroad moment where the road kind of splits off. And we're just like, which choice should I go with? And I feel like for a lot of people, choices, decisions, everything is seen in a very binary way. This is right, this is wrong. This is the better one, this is the lesser than. Okay, and so if you're standing in front of a fork in the road, and there are two choices, and you're kind of stuck in a quandary over, if I take this choice, what is my life going to look like? Versus if I take that choice, what is my life going to look like? And I feel in general, Capricorn people are very, very humble, but you are also very, very practical, and you're also very analytical. The humility, why I brought that up, humility has to do with the fact that we believe that there is something out there that is greater than us, okay? So I feel like for a lot of Capricorns, you're able to suppress your ego in order to serve a greater purpose, okay? And then when you're successful, when you've made it, when you've already climbed on top of that mountain, you don't just sit there and say like, oh, I did it through my sheer determination and hard work. No, because you're very humble, and your humility allows you to say, I was able to do it because of, the support I got from my friends and loved ones and family. I was able to do it because of, the grace of God or the divine, whatever it is. I was able to do it because I knew my weaknesses, and I used this opportunity to, overcome my weaknesses. So you have this sense that there is a greater divine purpose. There's a greater divine, I guess, like will or drive, something that's working behind the scenes to make all the pieces of the puzzle fit together. Okay. And then the other thing that I mentioned as well is you're also very practical and very analytical. And I feel like for a lot of people that might be Capricorns, you guys are quite skeptical too about, spirituality and, seeing a fortune teller, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. I've had a lot of clients that are Capricorns, that they're skeptical, and you have a healthy dose of skepticism. Okay? It's healthy because you take everything with an open mind. If you're going to pay the money to go see a fortune teller, you're going to be receptive to whatever he or she is telling you. So where am I going with this? And sorry, this is long, but what I mean here is I feel like many of you are at a crossroads or will be encountering a major crossroads in your life. And once again, life is about experiences. It's not so much about, path A will lead you to riches and glory. Path B will lead you to, destitution and homelessness. It's not about that. It's not supposed to be fatal. However, there are also some situations in life where we kind of have to listen to our higher calling. Path A is, it feels good. Path B is a temptation. And if you choose to go with that temptation, you want to think about how it's going to corrode your sense of morality, how it's going to hurt other people, etc., etc., etc. And I'm bringing this up because I feel like there might be a situation where there is temptation. Temptation to go astray, temptation to take a shortcut, temptation to flirt with somebody that might be already in a relationship, or a temptation to step outside of a relationship. So there is some temptation. because I feel like there's guilt. I feel like there's trepidation. I also feel there's excitement, there's chemistry, there is temptation. And what you do in this situation is you want to really think about, yes, this opportunity is presented in front of me. It's very alluring. Okay, but like once I go with that path, what is it going to look like? At the end of that path, what is there? Like what is that going to look like? So for example, if I choose not to, get involved with this woman who already has a husband, if I choose not to, I will, kick myself over this decision further down the line. But I would not have broken up their relationship. I would not have, gotten involved in a sticky, messy situation. I wouldn't have to worry about her husband finding out. I wouldn't have to worry about my sense of morality, right? And then if I choose to get involved with her, even though she's already married, I might potentially break up their families. I don't know if they have children. If they have children, then the children might find out. And I feel like it's going to make you feel, very little if you're in that type of a situation. So you want to think about, like, at the end of that road, once you take that path, what does it look like? Does it lead to anything that has room and opportunity to grow? Does it grow? Or does it just flatline and, lead to a screeching halt? Okay, so I feel like there's a situation here where we have to really assess what we're doing, and we have to really think about what is, the best outcome for the greater good, not just for me, myself, and I, not just to feed my ego, but more like, what is the optimal outcome for the greater good, where everyone benefits. So I'm going to leave it at that, Capricorn. I hope that the reading is helpful. Okay, you guys are going through your Saturn transit. No, Saturn is in, Saturn is in Capricorn. And I believe we have a year and a half left, about roughly a year and a half left. So it's a little bit of a difficult process. And I just want you to be very, very aware of the choices that we make, because Saturn is a planet of karma, okay? It brings back unfinished business. It also brings very major, life-changing, important lessons that we have to learn about self-worth, about our own capabilities, and about overcoming the obstacles in our lives. And it will give us the necessary tools and guidance to do so. But in the meantime, it's going to force us to sacrifice and forego the things that are not good for us. Okay, so pass up on the things that are not good for you. Pass up on people, situations, circumstances, desires, or whatever it is that's not good for you. Okay, so I wish you all the best. We are moving on to the sign of Aquarius. What's going on with Aquarius? Hi, Aquarius. So what I have for you here is there's this major light bulb moment that you are experiencing. And I feel like, it's a mixture of communication coming through between you and another person. There's also a major revelation or an awakening, which is, I don't feel like, secrets coming to light. I don't see any of that. I just feel like enlightening conversations that you either have with yourself or with another person that reveals a lot to you about, your inner workings, your inner psyche. And I'm also seeing like ideas and transmission of ideas as well that allows you to do things in a better way. Like rather than working hard, now you're working smart because you have come into or stumble across these ideas that make life a lot easier. So insights are coming through that will really enhance your life and make a situation a lot better. I know that many of you have been under a lot of responsibilities and a lot of pressure. You got the same card as Gemini, so I feel like it might be an air sign thing, okay? Libra, I don't think Libra. Well, Libras were dealing with some type of speaking their truth situation, but I feel like for you guys it's different. There's a lot of responsibilities. There are a lot of things that you're trying to keep afloat. There are a lot of things on your plate. There are a lot of things on your back, a lot of things you have to take care of, a lot of things you have to carry, physically move around from one place to the next. And I almost feel like it's physically exhausting. Okay, it's physically exhausting. Try to turn off the lights, get enough sleep, make sure your room is dark, make sure it's a little bit on the colder end so that you can, it's conducive to sleep if you keep your room a little bit cooler, okay? So I feel like many of you need that. I'm also seeing a lot of you are, so you have these things, okay? So you have, I feel like it's your spirit guides, it's the universe telling you, hey, there's a better way to do this. So why don't you, listen to us, and then you can get this done a lot faster. And I feel like it could be coming through physically in a form of another person, or it's some spiritual advice or some sudden realization or insight that you're getting in your sleep to allow you to do something better, to allow you to, take care of things in a more graceful and a swifter manner. Okay, so you're getting a lot of spiritual guidance here to help you problem solve, because your angels and your spirit guides are aware that you have been struggling and they're here to offer assistance. If you're stuck with a problem at work, pray on it. Okay, very simple prayer. Just sit there 5 minutes, close your eyes, and you will get some magical insights. If you're stuck with a situation, a problem, if you're in school and you're stuck with a math problem, for example, you want to pray on it. You might be able to get the answer in your sleep. It's happened to me before, and I swear that it works. Especially with math problems. For whatever reason, I just, those come the fastest, okay? And then if you ever have any issues where you're like relationships too, what do I do? Should I leave this person alone? How do they feel about me? The answers are all within, and if you pray on it, and you will get the answers you need. So I'm going to move away from that. So you have insights, revelation, and especially divine guidance coming through, okay? There is a relationship here, and I'm getting that it's somebody who's very unforgettable. And I feel like they see you as someone who's very unforgettable. It's like somebody who's unique. And you guys are very, very quirky and unique and special. So in everyone's eyes, you're always going to be unforgettable. But in this person's eyes, they see you as somebody who's very unforgettable. It's like they haven't forgotten you. So I don't know how many years, how many months, how many days have passed. They still think about you. They see you as someone who's very loyal, as quirky as you are. It's funny because they're not seeing the Uranian, quirky, unstable, unpredictable, eccentric, side of you. They see more of the Saturnian side of you, Aquarius, which is a side of you that I honestly feel only spiritual people see. Okay? So I hope that makes sense. When people first meet you, they see the quirkiness. They see the rebel. They see somebody who is kind of flighty, here today, gone tomorrow, looking for excitement, blah, blah, blah. They see that when they first meet you. And I feel like it takes a really special person to see more of the other side of you. Where if you tell them, let's go get coffee on Saturday, 2 p.m., you're there on the dot. Even if, a week goes by and you don't follow up with that person, Saturday, 2 p.m., you're still there, okay? So they see this stable, reliable, straightforward side of you. And the other person is very unforgettable to you because to you, they're larger than life. And I feel like, they're someone who they are a person, excuse me, that's able to handle the practical responsibilities, washing the dishes, doing the laundry, vacuuming, cleaning the house, picking up the kids from school, reading something and being able to retain all the information that they read. You see them as like almost like a genie. They're able to take care of all the little practical things that you really struggle with taking care of, keeping the house clean, washing doing the clothes. And, they're very routine oriented. And I feel like you might have trouble with routine. You might have trouble with keeping your space neat or organized, or keeping your thoughts very linear. So I feel like you both complement each other. And, they see you as someone who's very unforgettable because you're very reliable. You say what you mean what you say. And you are not one to sway or bend just to please another person. And then you see them as someone who's like the pillar of strength and stability, and someone who takes care of things. And so there's this really strong connection here. And I feel almost like the other person, let me see what's going on here. I feel like the other person is just like, why does the Aquarius person like me? Why did I look normal? I'm average intelligence. Average looking. I'm a little bit pudgy. I might have a muffin top. I don't dress really stylishly. Why does the Aquarius person like me? So I feel like you're dealing with somebody who sees your uniqueness, and who sees the fact that you're like multicolored, and they're brown, and they're just like, why does this person like me? They're so colorful and vibrant, and I'm just boring and brown. And then I see this person touching your third eye, and they're trying to figure out like what you're thinking. They're trying to, it's like putting a hand to your third eye to figure out, to try to read your mind, to try to figure out, they trust you. They trust that you've been nothing but straightforward with them, but they have trouble understanding. Okay? So that's what I'm seeing here. There's this back and forth communication between you and this person. And I feel like there is just a really strong mutual receptive energy between two people. And I feel like one person is operating from more of that rational, logical standpoint. It might be the other person, because they seem to me very earthy, very like kind of boring. They might wear a lot of beige. They might wear a lot of browns. They might wear a lot of earth tones. They might wear... They just seem like they might be a little bit older. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I'm sorry if I offended the cross watchers. I didn't mean boring. I just mean like they think they're boring. They think they're vanilla. They think they're beige. And then so one person is operating more from the head space where they analyze everything. And I feel the Aquarius, you guys, are operating more from the crown chakra, the higher chakras, where you don't have to question anything. You've been perfectly straightforward and honest. And I do feel like there's this meeting of the minds here where the two of you are meant to meet because you complement each other. I have a very strong air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. I have also a very strong earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Okay, and I feel like the meeting of the minds is happening with the air sign or the earth sign. I have a fractured relationship that needs amends. So somebody might be making amends. Somebody might need to make amends with a water sign, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. Okay? I hope that is helpful for you guys. We are moving on to the next sign. Let's see, Pisces. What's going on for Pisces as we round up January? Hi there, Pisces. So, I feel like I've done all the other signs, okay, and I feel like your reading might be a little bit difficult. The energies you might be encountering might be a little bit difficult. So, first of all, there's a big need here to not stoop to somebody's level. There's a need here to kind of like stand your ground and kind of like be a person. It's almost like needing to, you know, be a person who's, it's like contrary to what that I guess proverb says, like no man is an island. There's a need here to kind of isolate yourself from people around you that might not be healthy for you, taking advice from people that are giving you advice that are not, that are subjective or that are not appropriate for you, and especially aiming and erring on the side where you're trying to do the right thing. Okay. There's a lot of jealousies, Pisces, a lot of jealousies in your work environment. And I feel like people will say things, gossip, rumors, whatever it is, to kind of cut you down, to affect your self-esteem, because they are incredibly jealous. You have some major support in your work environment, people that really like the work that you do. You're conscientious, you're doing your full responsibilities, and you're also taking on a lot of extra work on the side in order to improve yourself, in order to learn more, in order to grow, but also in order to help people. But you also enjoy the social interaction. So I would say try to minimize the social interaction in the work environment and try not to reveal too much of your personal life, especially with people you don't know very well from the get-go. Once you know them well, you do as you please. But I feel like there is something in your work environment here where there's a lot of jealousy coming through from other people. So the less you reveal, the more focused you are at work, just to work rather than to socialize, the easier it's going to be to block off these energies, okay? So that's what I feel right here. For those of you who have already done this and you've been in the same work environment for a while and you are now dealing with all of this and it's like kind of like too late, I would say keep to yourself a little bit, kind of keep yourself shut in your office, in your room, keep your head to the grindstone and just focus on that temporarily for, you know, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And then the gossip, the rumors, the drama, it's going to subside, okay? I feel like this is something that you might need to do, mainly because to contain your energy and to also let the situation kind of de-escalate, okay? You are really highly looked upon by your superiors, okay? Like they like the work that you do. I also feel there's somebody around you who is in a position of power that might have alternative, ulterior motives towards you. So they might be interested in you. They might be grooming you because they're trying to make a move on you. I want you to be very, very careful. I'm also sensing as well, there's just a lot of sneaky behavior in a work environment. If you work in a really big organization with a lot of people, this is what I feel like it's bound to happen. You know, there are like negative elements in every work environment, and it's even more so pronounced if there's a lot of people. So I don't feel like it's individuals that are targeting you. I just feel like they sit and gossip, or they sit and do things, or they, you know, do things incorrectly, or they engage in activities that, like criminal activities that they shouldn't. And it's nothing personal. It's just like you're in a big work environment. There's a lot of people. There are a lot of things that go unchecked and unnoticed, or there's like no oversight. So then they get to do whatever they want. So keep your nose to the grindstone. Don't give your energy to it. Don't feed to it, or don't feed it. And, you know, just keep to yourself, okay? Be careful with that person who is in a position of authority. I feel like they come across to me as someone, as, you know, the seven deadly sins, like gluttony. It's somebody that money, prestige, power gets to their head. It's somebody that feels like if they have a lot of money, they can buy people's love, they can buy people's affection. And then if they don't get people's love and their affection, they feel like they can do it through coercion. So this is a negative energy. And I see someone with beady eyes. So it's almost like they see the flaws in others rather than, you know, see the goodness and the strength in other people. And so if you're surrounded by somebody who's constantly, you know, dwelling on somebody's negative traits, or a coworker's negative traits, or everybody else's negative traits, that might be the person. So just be careful, okay? Let me see. If we are to clear up this energy, what do we have? I see communication coming through, a lot of friendships, socializing, and things like that. I would say steer away from the work environment. Socialize with your group of friends, your friendships. I also feel like there might be arguments as well with lovers, okay? So like there might be arguments, feeling a little bit like you're not being supported, okay? And as well as your partner might feel like you're not making the time for them. So just keep that in mind. I hope the reading is helpful for you, Pisces. I will talk to you guys soon, okay? Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in February.